Hello and welcome to the Partisan video podcast. This week we're going to be talking about yesterday's Birmingham International Holdings accounts that were released, the interim accounts. Maybe a little bit about Zigic, maybe a little bit about the end of the season, which comes on Saturday, tomorrow, against Bolton at the Macron, as it is now. First of all, the accounts. Now, I know this is pretty boring stuff, if I'm honest. I'm going to do the Sky pad thing here, so you'll have to bear with me. I've got details here in front of me. The accounts are quite surprising. I think people were expecting there to be something that said that BIHL are going bust. They need to sell now, and there was nothing like that. There was never ever going to be anything like that in the accounts. What they say is it's quite interesting that the loss the last 6 months is only works out to about 800 grand. I mean, in comparison to what it was the 6 months for the first interim accounts of 2013, which are like much higher, like 5 million quid plus. It represents a considerable difference, and they do attribute that to better performance on the pitch. But I think you've also got to look at the qualities that Ernst & Young have brought in, and this obviously relates to before Ernst & Young. This would have been the control that was exerted on BIHL, the lack of control from Panu, and the exertion by the Panos group on the company, because you can see borrowings are cut by half. Wages have gone up slightly, which is a bit confusing because, as we know, Zigic's massive wages have gone down, so I'm wondering if someone else is on money at Birmingham International Holdings, but I don't know without checking it out. Television revenue slightly up, commercial revenue slightly up. Ticket receipts are up by 25%, about 25%, up by a fair old margin, so about £400,000. So evidently, people boycotting, it's working, not. That's intriguing, and I think a lot of that is to do with the fact that we're playing better on the pitch, we're winning games, that people have bought into the Rariot revolution, as it were. They also talk about having about £750,000 in the bank, about having demands from Panu, which they said they are seeking legal advice on, about having demands from Charlie Penn, the former director Charlie Penn, they're seeking legal advice on that. That they're negotiating with China Energy over the 4 million or so that there are they apparently owe China Energy. There's a little bit of talk about the misappropriation of funds. Apparently 93,000 Hong Kong dollars went missing in cash. Now, $8,000 in English money, in petty cash, isn't a massive amount, but that's not going to buy just a packet of chocolate hobnobs in Hong Kong, as it were. There's from what I hear, that's a relatively recent discovery that this money had gone missing. I haven't heard anything about any receipts or any Wan Chai girly bars, but you don't know. You don't know where that money's gone. And obviously, that'll be passed to the police who are dealing with a misappropriation of funds as it is. One man was arrested, Jerry Coe, but he's not been charged. He's been released on bail. So, at the moment, that's a bit up in the air. I think there was also people thinking, you know what? When's this guy going to get done for it? But it's the way things work in Hong Kong. Things take a long time, especially in legal circles, So the basis of the accounts are that BIHL have got money in the bank to keep going. That whilst there is material uncertainty as to whether the company can remain trading, they say that they can do it if they can borrow some money. And I think this is something that's been picked upon because people are like, well, what are they going to borrow it against St Andrews or what? I don't think it will be St Andrews. I think this is the prelude to them selling a stake in Birmingham International Holdings. We've not heard anything on the sale. Ernst & Young said they'd tell us updates once a month. The last update was on April the 8th. So I reckon they've got to the end of next week to release something. And I think they will. I don't know if it'll be a full update or whether it'll just be, we're talking to people, we still haven't come to a decision, which is quite possible. But I do think it's going to be more likely to be a gradual transition, and that it'll be a stake in BIHL that's sold, and that it'll be something where people who are expecting like a clean sweep, I don't think are going to get their wish. And I can kind of understand why people might be unhappy with that. But on the flip side as well, one of the worries I had when Palladini was looking to buy the club was that I didn't think he would do anything more than just like come in and like get rid of like toxicity and then sell it on again for a profit. And I think people have got to realise that the next, that is very much the case. Jeremy Ray, I think, was also looking to flip it. I mean, he denied that when I asked him, but it was obvious that he said that he was going to buy the club and then he was going to dilute his stake with some mystery backers from the Middle East. So yeah, I think a gradual transition is what is probably what's going to have to happen, and that means the gradual erosion of power from Carson. But if that's what it takes to do it legally and to stop him from putting any spanners in the works, then that's the way we have to take it. I was at the Birmingham Senior Cup yesterday to watch Nicola Zigic lift his final trophy of a trophy-laden career with Birmingham City. Birmingham League Cup, the League Cup, and now the Birmingham Senior Cup. So quite the feat there. It was actually quite interesting because Zigic had quite a decent game. Matt Green scored, but he had a hatful more chances. The people who really impressed me were some of the young pros. Wes Harding and Don Bernard, centre-back, both looked pretty solid. Josh Dacus-Cogley, I've always been impressed by, putting some brilliant crosses from right back. Kamal Guthmi, who only played the first half, looked alright. Viv Solomon Ospor looked alright. Charlie Cooper, whose dad Mark played for us. I think Charlie looked better, to be honest, but I don't remember that much of Mark Cooper. And of course Terry Cooper was manager, so there's a real Blues connection there. It was a good match. It was a good match, and 2-1 was probably closer than the actual scoreline should have been. But that's the way these things go. Blues kind of took their foot off the gas. Nuneaton got a goal back. They got the towels up. The wind behind them. Couldn't quite get the equaliser. But that's the way it goes. I was at the ladies' game as well on Wednesday, and I feel for the ladies because they had about 50 shots on goal and they could not get it in. It was a really entertaining game. A really, really entertaining game. There was like end-to-end action, and there was some great chances and some great play. And whilst they've not won yet in the WSL, and I've not yet seen them score at home, I think the promise is there. You look at the front line they finished with: Karen Carney, Frida Aisi, Kirsty Lynette, and Mel Lawley. That's quite a strong front line, but they're currently playing quite individually rather than as a team. They will grow together again, and I've got a feeling the second half of the season will be good. So Bolton tomorrow. I'm not going to be going, unfortunately. I just can't do it, unfortunately. And I know 3,500 Blues fans can, and I'm sure they're looking forward to celebrating the anniversary of the miracle at the Macron. I think that's what the Birmingham Mail called it. I don't know if the Birmingham Mail are doing any 1 year since the miracle at the Macron pull out, but you never know. I tried to ask them last night if they'd do a 16-page pull out for the Birmingham Senior Cup win, but I don't think they will. And by the way, Birmingham Mail, we love you really, but give it a rest with the Villa coverage, please. Let them actually win it before you publish anything more. So that's it. Player Awards Sunday. I'm going to be taking Tom, who won the competition, courtesy of the wonderful Tim Andrews, who is chairman of the Loughborough charity, as well as managing director of Hollywood Monster. It's going to be good. I think. I think last year was it was quite a weird atmosphere. I think everyone was expecting us to go down, and we didn't. And so it was more relief than anything, whereas this year's going to be quite celebratory, I think, because we've had a fairly decent season. Gary Rowett's like Mr. Popular. I think players like Zigic, who are obviously going to be leaving, it's going to be a bit of a swan song for them. I'm expecting a really good night. I'll take some pictures and I'll post them. And then we move on to next week. Still not heard on the Carson appeal. I think the longer it goes on without a date being announced, the worse that is for Carson. I really do. I think there are political considerations that are coming into play, and I think his legal team know this. So that's interesting in itself. As always, you have any questions, almajira@aftonpartisan.co.uk. You can email me on that. You can follow me on Twitter, twitter.com/often_partisan. You can follow me on Facebook, facebook.com/oftenpartisan. You can always buy the book if you want to from haircutsandleagueups.co.uk. The £10 price drop has now finished. It's now £15 again. But you may want a summer holiday read, something to read on the beach. I've had a lot of feedback actually from fans going, I couldn't put it down, I really enjoyed it. And I'm hoping, the biggest hope for me is that people get a sense of understanding what went on when Carson took control. Try and fill in the gaps in knowledge and things like that. I'm not going to lie to you, it's a bit dry at times. There's a lot of detail gone into it, but the reason being is that, well, we had to protect ourselves. I heard a rumour actually, funnily enough, that Carson tried to speak to the major defamation barrister in Hong Kong, a guy by the name of Robin McLeish, through his solicitors, and Robin's in our acknowledgements because he looked through the book for us, so he couldn't talk to Carson's guys, and they quietly dropped wanting to sue us, which is quite nice. But yeah, so maybe the book that Carson and Panu didn't want you to read. Interesting that, isn't it? So till next week, keep right on. Let's hope for 3 points tomorrow, and let's see what the future brings. Till then.